everybody, I'm Tara from Crooked Row, and today I just wanted to do a short little video, but a very important video on buying your seeds. I am getting seed catalogs en masse, as I'm sure you are too. Actually, some of these are upside down. But we love it when our seed catalogs come in. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Baker Creek, Southern Exposure. I even have had some great success with like Park Seed. I always get like normal ones. I order the absolute most from Berlin Seeds. If you live in the Midwest, these are like tried and true seeds. But actually the most that I love from them is their plants. Their plants are phenomenal. We have such good luck here. But it could be because we're in the Midwest, I'm not sure. I wanted to come up with 5 things that you may need to think about before you actually start ordering your seeds. And one of the most important ones, and I think it's actually the most overlooked thing that you need to really consider, is does your family like the vegetable or fruit that you're planting? And I know that sounds so simple, but there was a kohlrabi. I had absolutely wonderful success with kohlrabi, but my family wouldn't eat it. I think they wouldn't eat it because I don't have picky eaters, but I think they wouldn't eat it because it looks like a spaceship. So, but I grew it year after year, and then it would just sit there, or I would try to make it, and they just were not very interested in that. So I quit growing kohlrabi. So when you are going through the magazines, I mean, these beautiful glossy catalogs, I just feel like everything looks good in them. And so we as gardeners, like, we want to plant all of these things, right? And so we get excited, and then we put in these huge seed orders and we don't use them. Or you plant them and you spend all this time and effort in planting them and watering them and fertilizing them and harvesting them, and then you're like, what am I going to do with this? Right? So that's number one. And I think probably one of the most important steps that you should not overlook this year. Number 2 is, how much does your family actually use? So we try to live mostly, we're homesteaders, so we try to live mostly off our garden. And so when you do that, we actually never have enough. We have to do seasonal gardening. I mean, we have to come out with, like, you know, tons of spring garden, tons of summer garden, and then a fall garden too. And it's usually still not enough. I mean, I have 4 kids, so that we're feeding a lot, and my 2 oldest boys are, you know, over 6 feet, so they're eaters. So I do take that into consideration though. When you start looking at your seed packets, and this is sort of number 3, also mixed with number 2, because you're gonna look at this simultaneously, is how much is in your seed packet. So I was actually going through, I believe it was Baker Creek catalog, and I started noticing, one, that seed companies are changing how much they're putting in their seed packets. So be careful, because what you purchased last year may not be what you can purchase this year in the same thing. And what I mean by that is I'm noticing that they're lowering the amount of seeds that they have in. I'm seeing a lot of 25 seeds instead of 100. And so, but the price is either the same or higher. And who in the world would ever think that we'd end up paying anywhere from $4 to $7 for a packet of seeds? So this year, probably more than any other time, we really need to be weighing out what we're doing, why we're doing. And so the quantities are going to make a difference. So what I was going to say was, so I was looking at cabbage, and we eat a lot of cabbage because we eat a lot of sauerkraut. But when I started, like, I'm like, oh, I'll take this packet and this packet and this packet. And then I looked, and there's like 100 seeds in each one. I'm not going to grow that much cabbage. I mean, I don't have a cellar and I don't have a basement to keep these things in. All of you who do, congratulations. But we don't. We have a very, very tiny house. So I just want to encourage you to actually look at the seed packets for us, one packet of cabbage is more than enough. I know that for those of you who are looking for the differing varieties instead, maybe you can spread your seeds out over a couple of years. That would help too. Or maybe you have the room and that's just how many seeds you use. But this is really, really important to really start considering. I know that when we start going through these catalogs, I mean, these beautiful glossy pictures of these in these catalogs makes us want to grow everything. But a super good thing to go over is, so question number 4 or consideration number 4 is, do you have the space? I mean, if you do not have space, there are so many compact varieties you could be looking for. Even like things like basil. I mean, sometimes you are just dealing with, you're only working in one raised bed. If you're only working in one raised bed, you truly have to scrutinize every single purchase that you make. I am working on a half an acre. And so I don't totally scrutinize size, but I do look at things like, how much is this gonna spread? So I have certain tomatoes that will spread out 6 feet or more. That's not something that you can just throw in the garden anywhere, you know? I have to plan out where I'm gonna put that. And so I'm actually kind of limited on vertical space unless I actually put something in the garden to help that. So these are considerations that you need to think about. If you're gonna buy $500 worth of seed of something that you actually don't have the space for, then you are just wasting your money. So that's consideration 4. So consideration 5 is going to be the requirements for the plant. And I know that we as gardeners like tend to push the limits and we like to plant just whatever we want and see how it grows, and that's fantastic. But and I think that we should play around. But when you are ordering seeds, especially, I'm going to repeat because these are so expensive this year. And so, it is not beyond me to order at least 100, if not 200 packets of seeds, and then I'll place another order in mid-season. So I am somebody who places huge seed orders, but not this year. I mean, I can't, this farmstead or homestead cannot support $7 a seed packet. Even $4 or $5 is expensive when you're talking about seeds. And so I want to encourage you to look at, so I'll give you an example. So I was looking at our watermelons, and we grow Orange Glow watermelons every year. Love them. They are so sweet. They taste delicious. They're super juicy. And when we have like a good drought or a super hot summer, I mean, these things get as big as pigs. They're huge, but they take long hot summers. And last year was kind of a, I don't want to say it was cool, but it certainly was not a kind of drought condition summer, you know? So I want, this year, I already have Orange Glow seeds because we save our seeds. But this year, I've gone for a variety that is going to be ready in 60 to 65 days. So really, that information is in your catalogs for a reason. Use it. It is invaluable, especially when you're trying to plan the garden. So number 6 is also going to be stick with a budget. I know that that is not what we like to do, is to stick with a budget, because again, you get in those glossy seed catalogs, or that if you're shopping online, oh, man, I just want to grow every single thing, every variety that they have. Consider that though. Stick with a budget. Figure out what you can afford, or what, actually, it might be something better to say, what you should afford. And so you do want gardening to be worth your while. So don't just like willy-nilly, because think about how much you're spending in your fertilizers and how much you're spending in just all the extras. Are you running drip irrigation? Are you, you know, even just something simple like hoses. I don't know about you, but we went to our Rural King and our local one, and it was like $70 for a hose. A hose is now $70. So these are things to think about, because it is not just I have seeds. There's so many things that we know that goes into planting those seeds, and it is an expense, and you should really, really think about it. I also want to make a suggestion. This might be 7. Are we at 8 now? I'm way past 5, so sorry. But I feel like these are important, especially now. I feel like these are really, really important. And so you want to, when you're going through your seed catalogs, you want to really look at what you're going to have to do to get those in the ground. And so there are some tomatoes and peppers that you really have to baby. And so just figure out if that's the time and effort that you want to put in those seeds. And so I think that when I first got started, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do everything. And then when you start doing it all and doing everything, it's exasperating. And it is so much better to start slow and then have to say, I need to order more of these. Mid-season, you may have to order more. Or, I mean, that's if they grow fast. Or it may be next year I should do this. I keep a diary. I keep a diary of what I put in the ground, what I order, where I order from, which leads me to another suggestion, which is shop around. Don't order from one seed catalog, because there are great deals that a lot of these places, like this year. So I typically order a lot from Baker Creek or Rare Seeds. That's the same company. And I order a lot from Johnny's Seeds too. But Seed Savers Exchange is truly one of the greatest places I've ever been to. And I feel like it sort of dominates even over Johnny's and Rare Seeds. So Rare Seeds used to sell in bulk, and they don't anymore. And so when you're planting for a family of 6, or maybe you have a family of 10, or maybe you have a family of 2, but when you eat a lot of lettuce and spinach and kale and things like that, buying a packet with 25 seeds in it is not gonna fly. And so, especially with lettuce. And so Rare Seeds does not offer that anymore, and that is not manageable for me. Whereas Seed Savers Exchange does. And they're a nonprofit organization. They work really hard at keeping, everything non-GMO and saving seeds, heirloom seeds, and they bring things back that were starting to die out and stuff like that. I love it, love it, love it. So I highly suggest Seed Savers Exchange because and your local. Please visit your local greenhouses and seed shops, because a lot of times they're buying in bulk and they have in bins, and you get astronomically more than you ever would in a packet through the mail. So please don't neglect those places as well, and you want to support people that are local as well. So these are just food for thought to think about. If I missed something, put it in the comments below. I know I always say this, but I really do mean it. We love hearing from you guys. We feel like homesteading is something that you kind of need community for. And in this world of social media, so many people don't have groups and things that they do. Everything's done online. So we appreciate all of your suggestions and comments. If you have a suggestion, even for other people to read, put it in the comments below, because people do read the comments because they send us emails. So I'm gonna get to my list of seeds that we need. I saved a lot of my seeds this year, but we do need some seeds, and get to the fun task of planting my garden. And so in January, it's so much fun to winter sow and plan out your garden, and you're just kind of chomping at the bit for spring to break. So remember guys, if we can responsibly buy seeds, anybody can. Thanks. Bye.